We are collaborating with KYC providers, so you can bring KYC data on chain if you need it. Main issue is that projects actually don't use oracles. I believe, blockchain is pretty nice piece of technology for tokenized real-world assets and actually real-world adoption. So I think we all find a consensus that the future is multi-chain. And that's actually what we are building at QUEX. Flexible and privacy-friendly oracle that supports the new generation of real-world, compliant and secure blockchain app.
Welcome back to XDC India Podcast. I'm your host Kishanbaalaji, and today's episode takes us straight into the heart of decentralized infrastructure and its evolution. Big news to start with, QUEX is now officially live on the XDC Network. That's a major development, not just for the network, but for enterprise-grade oracles and how real-world asset infrastructure is built. Joining me today is a guest who's been on the cutting edge of blockchain innovation, Dmitry Meshkov, CEO of QUEX and formerly a co-founder of the Ergo Platform. Dmitry, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for calling me. Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here. I just got back from Dubai from the token event where I joined a bunch of great XDC events, and I'm very excited to start working with the XDC community. I believe together we can push the whole space forward. So glad to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you here, Dmitry. So, Dmitry, to set the stage, how would you define the role of an oracle today, especially in the complex multi-chain world we now operate in?
The general role of oracles is actually still the same as before, to connect Web3 world with Web2 data, but our space evolves and the needs are changing. For many years, blockchain was kind of its own world. We could send crypto, create tokens, trade them, use them as collateral for loans, but it wasn't really connected to the real world. So older oracles mostly focused on getting crypto prices from centralized exchanges into smart contracts, and they do it pretty well nowadays. However, the space is shifting, and now we see more dApps that need real world data. For example, like prediction markets need data to resolve events. Real world assets need different types of trusted data to stay secure. And also Web3 is starting to face real regulation, and this means using private data that can't be just put on chain is demanded. And that's actually what we are building at QUEX. Flexible and privacy-friendly oracle that supports the new generation of real-world, compliant and secure blockchain apps.
Thank you so much for that explanation, Dmitry. And of course, with great power comes great responsibility. Can you share a real-world example where an oracle failure led to a serious consequence? What was the key lesson from that?
So if you'll just go to, for example, DeFi Llama and check recent hacks, you'll find out that just in April, just within the last month, there were two big Oracle-related attacks to Loopscale and KyloX with over 10 million of US dollar losses. And in most cases, the main issue is that projects actually don't use oracles. The problem seems pretty easy. You can just take data, put on chain. So for a lot of cases, it might seem easier, but when you do it in practice, you might miss some points and that will lead to attacks. So if you're doing it in centralized manner using your own server, it's definitely an issue because actually the security of the whole application is the security of its weakest element, and the security of your dApp becomes the security of a regular centralized application. You're missing the whole benefit you can grab from smart contracts, from blockchain, from the network effects. You're missing immediately all of these steps if you're using centralized oracles. Another issue if you, for example, take prices from decentralized exchanges, because Most of tokens now for sure are traded on DEXs, but DEXs are not very liquid. It's pretty easy to manipulate the price, and they're also vulnerable to flash loan attacks. So the hacker can loan a lot of money within the same transaction, pump the price on DEX, extract money from your protocol with these pumped prices, remove the loan, send the loan back, get profit much higher than he paid for the loan. That's the main cost actually in all security systems, the cost of the attack and the potential profit you get from this attack. And if the profit is high than potential losses, then the attack might happen. And I like the one more recent example with Polymarket and UMA oracles. You likely heard about this attack, I think 2 months ago, when the UMA oracles resolved the rare metal deals between US and Ukraine that it was signed in March. Actually, it wasn't. So it wasn't signed at that date. But the hacker took enough UMA tokens to vote to resolve this event that it was signed. Yeah, and that's a major issue, I believe, right now in oracles. That in most cases they rely on like economic security guarantees. So you have tokens, you can vote for any prices, events. There might be slashes if you vote for incorrect events. There might be rewards if you're voting for correct ones, but it's not that easy to determine what actually happens. Yeah, and even for big oracles like Chainlink, the oracle market cap, like Chainlink token market cap is like 5 billion, but total value secure is 50 billion. So there is 10x potential profit for the attacker. And if they behave rational, they will steal a lot of money. And it's actually a very simplified version of the attack. Definitely there are much more efficient way to bribe different nodes, to hack like validator nodes, and that's it. So there might be much more efficient ways to steal money with the oracles. And yeah, it's a big issue right now, I believe, and we should care a lot about this piece of technology.
Wow, that was really insightful. Thank you, Dmitry, because most of these end up being 51% attacks, right? They just are 51% attacks. And that's when they can steal money using oracles. And for example, we have the BZX flash loan attack that happened recently. So yeah, I'm sure, QUEX is doing a lot. I know that you're an OG builder from this space. I've gone through a lot of your work, and I'm grateful to being to interview you here right now, and so thank you for being here. So moving on to the next question, QUEX on XDC, the strategic fit and technical value. Now, QUEX launching on XDC is a huge milestone. What made XDC the right choice, and what sets QUEX apart from traditional oracles?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, definitely launching on XDC is a big milestone for us also, as XDC with a strong focus on real-world assets and enterprise use cases is exactly the network where we see the future of blockchain going and where QUEX might be useful. Yeah, because we are building flexible oracle, privacy preserving oracle, and the market is, as I already told earlier, the market is changing significantly, and we believe that the space of RWA assets might be much bigger than the whole crypto space we have right now. We might see some predictions that in 5 years it will be 16 trillion US dollars market of RWA, while current market cap of the whole crypto space is 2 trillion. So it's a big opportunity to change the market to tokenized assets. Enterprise cases need a lot of very unstandard and typical applications. That's actually why we decided to start building a new oracle. It's not a question right now why you're starting a new oracle. We already have this and this. Yeah, but we see that the market is changing, and XDC is going on top of these changes. I believe everyone listening for this podcast, at least everyone from XDC community would agree with me that XDC is going forward with this shift, the same bet for the XDC network and for QUEX oracles. So we'll have big new market of tokenized assets, of enterprise cases on-chain, and that's exactly why we are trying to extract the value, we're trying to provide the value, and we can be useful. Yeah, that's the key for us.
Thank you so much, Dmitry. So let's dig into the technical side a bit. How are QUEX's Oracle pipelines designed, especially for customizable feeds in real-world asset environments? And are you using technologies like trusted execution environments, zero knowledge proofs, or cryptographic assurances to ensure data integrity end to end?
Yeah, definitely we are focused on developers a lot because the product we are building is an infrastructure product, and we developers of XDC Network should use it. Yeah, that's why sometimes we are a bit technical, but I hope for your great community of builders, it's simple enough. Yeah. So with QUEX, you can make any HTTP requests all over the web. So you are not limited with predefined data feeds, as most oracles do. You can just make a request to data source of your choice, get response, and this response is cryptographically secure. It comes with the proofs of the correctness. Thus, you know that right now this data source provide you this response. Yeah. For prices, you know that Binance returned this price for XDC token right now, yeah. Or you can go to Nasdaq exchange and get a response that this stock price is 1 to 3. Or you can go to like National Election Commission and tell that current president of United States is Trump, yeah, for prediction market. That's not that easy again. Yeah. So this is the problem we are solving. Actually, it doesn't exist in Web2 world, because in Web2 world you can just make a request, get response, and you are okay with that. You have good enough guarantees, cryptographic guarantees, that right now this data source return this response. For Web3 world is not that simple, because you are not able to make requests from smart contracts, and that's a fundamental problem of decentralized systems. They have to be deterministic. You cannot just do these requests to any sources. And yeah, we are allowed to do it using a trusted execution environment. So long story short, it's special purpose hardware, CPUs designed with a private key built in with it, and allows to create an encrypted environment where me as a host or anyone else cannot see what's happening inside and cannot change the results provided by this encrypted environment. Yeah, that's how actually we operate. Yeah, we create an encrypted black box that making requests, getting responses, sign the responses, and if you verify and the whole chain of signatures is verified on chain with verified within smart contracts, that if you're using correct smart contracts with the correct verification, you are sure that even the whole validators network of QUEX is an evil and behave evil. They cannot change the data, they cannot manipulate the results. They can either provide you correct results or do not provide any kind of results, for sure. But you need at least one party that is providing results to get your data on chain. Yeah, so long story short, that's how we work with the data and how we provide security guarantees. I want to emphasize one more.
Please emphasize whatever you want to add. Please go ahead and emphasize.
Yeah. So what we also have is what we call the post-processing, verifiable post-processing. So actually, it's the same piece of technology with verifiable computations, because in most cases, responses from web sources are big and pretty useless on chain. It would be hard to manipulate with this data within smart contracts. It would be expensive in terms of gas cost. Thus, we allow to make computations on top of this data, extract exactly what you need from the whole response, reveal only this piece of the data on chain. And also we support like access to credential protected sources. So it's not only about public data, it's also about private data. And that's again our focus in terms of real world assets or enterprise cases, and bringing proof of reserves. For example, we can go, if you have access to your dashboards in real estate registry. Yeah, we have cases like this. Yeah, so you can go to your dashboard at real estate registry, take from it that you own this building you are tokenizing, and this is the sound proof that you own this building you are tokenizing, but you do not reveal your like private data, passport number, and other buildings you are owning you don't want to reveal. Yeah, you just prove what you need, do not reveal unnecessary data, and that's the privacy preserving feature we are focusing a lot. It's called confidential computing nowadays. Hopefully it's very new, technology. So the technology exists for about 10 years, but it evolved significantly with this last 5. So 5 years ago, it wasn't possible to do what we are doing right now. And now we got terms, we got 2 weeks ago, we just released a tool to verify what's happening within the enclave. If you'll go to verify.quex.tech, you'll see the page that allows you to actually work with the TEs, and within the TE community, we are also involved significantly, and we got very positive feedbacks from Flashbots, Secret Network, and other guys who are doing within the space, because this was the piece of verification that was missing for years in the space, and it's not easy to implement it, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to be trustless. So our goal is to minimize the trust assumption only to manufacture phase of the CPUs. So if they were manufactured correctly, you can be secure. You are secure. Yeah, you can be sure that your data is correct. We as the network cannot manipulate the result or do something. Our validators cannot do any incorrect behavior. So yeah, that's the ultimate security we're trying to achieve, I hope will be. And definitely it's necessary.
For sure. I've seen the kind of work that you have done on an individual basis, and I'm pretty sure you are going to achieve whatever you're. Like I said, you're the OG in this building space, so I'm sure you're going to achieve all of this. So now let's talk about latency versus accuracy. Is always a big trade-off in mission critical DeFi. How does QUEX balance those? And when it comes to onboarding new data sources, what's the process like?
So regarding latency and accuracy, it's always a mess. Actually, in a lot of cases, it's a mess because for traditional Oracle networks that rely on multi-party computations and consensus, you need to have a big networks that do the same stuff. Yeah, for example, getting some prices for XDC, and putting them on chain. So they have to get these prices from off-chain sources, find a consensus among all of them that the price is exactly right. This one, and after that, after finding a consensus, push this data to the network, and this takes time. For most cases, it's not that crucial. For some cases, it's crucial, and we don't see this kind of applications right now. And just because infrastructure is not ready, I believe we'll see good applications with QUEX, like real-time betting, for example, for sports events. We again see this stuff a lot, that people want to do real-time applications, but they're not capable to do real-time applications just because of Oracle's limitation. That's why actually some existing Oracles already adopted, like Pith Network recently announced Pith Laser, that's very, very efficient price fees, but actually it's mostly centralized. You can you have this trade-off, so it's quite centralized. Actually, Chainlink also have a lot of product, and some of them are centralized, some of them have to be centralized. So we do it a little bit different, as I told, in terms of technologies. We rely on trusted execution environment. This allows us to make just a single request, get a response, send the data with the proof on chain. This is super efficient. I believe the most possible efficient process we have right now. So, overhead compared to centralized execution of the same stuff is just 20%, for example, for about 20%. We compared it with, you can do similar stuff with zero knowledge proofs. For example, you need one proof, but zero knowledge proofs are much slower. So we compared it with other approach, private oracles, for example, zkPass, and for them, proof generation takes, they claimed that 2 seconds. I tried it by myself. It took me 15 seconds actually to generate a proof of my data. 2 seconds of it was zk generation, 10 seconds more, some different stuff. But so it's pretty slow anyway. And again, in a lot of cases, it's okay. But there are definitely cases, and there are cases that require real-time data, and we want to deliver it. We don't exactly know right now what are these cases. I'm not pushing this space let's do this or do this. Our goal is to provide as much flexibility for developers as we can, so they can actually build real-time applications. They can actually build applications that rely on a lot of different data sources. As I told earlier, we are not limited with any HTTP requests, and we are not limited with any predefined data feeds. If you need to make a request from your smart contract, you can make it, you can get a response, and you can use it. And it's no whitelist or blacklist. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, the flexibility,
That's
level
amazing.
flexibility game we're trying to achieve. Yeah.
So, yeah, developers listening on to this podcast, feel free to build, feel free to do whatever you want to with QUEX's, Git repositories, pull anything you want, do whatever you want, and you have got the go ahead from Dmitry himself. So,
Yeah, and definitely feel free to contact me if you are missing something, because we are also at the very early stage of ourselves. Yeah, we just released our product 2 months ago. I had to disclaim that we are still conducting security audits right now, so it looks like we don't have critical issues already, but still the security audit is in progress. We don't have a report yet, so we are at the early stage. Feel free to contact me. We can explore new cases together. We are okay to build new cases together if you need support from our team, from me personally, from our developers. So we can discuss it definitely. So pretty active and responsible on Twitter, Telegrams, LinkedIn. So in any networks, just contact us, and we'll be happy to build something cool together. Definitely.
that's the spirit of Web3. Dimitri holding it, right up there, asking people, it's difficult to find people who are willing to help. And thank you so much, Dimitri, for upholding the spirit of Web3. Now, I think that is the key message that you are trying to push forward. So, anyway, XDC has a strong focus on real world assets. How is QUEX ensuring legal and compliance grade standards for the data it integrates? And philosophically, where does QUEX stand on decentralization? Are you exploring DAO governance models or validator networks for Oracle nodes?
So regarding like legal and compliance grade standards, I already told quite a lot today. Yeah, so rely on confidential computing. It's pretty good and standard approach right now. We are collaborating with KYC providers, so you can bring KYC data on chain if you need it. Again, extracting only the necessary piece of the data, that like proof of your transactions. It's a KOT of AML cases. You can take this money is not hacked. Yeah, they're legal. This is the person who can buy these real world assets. I think the main issue right now in real world assets actually is to be compliant with the legal frameworks. These legal frameworks are different in all the countries, and it's definitely complicated. Yeah, we can bring data from KYC providers on chain showing that this address belongs to like real person from India. Yeah, and this money is actually not stolen. They were bought on exchange. They're white. Yeah, philosophically regarding the decentralization and all this stuff. Again, some kind of disclaimer right now that we are not allowing anyone to join the network. As I told, we already have levels of security that even if you are the only operator, the only freedom we have right now is either to provide correct responses for you or do not provide any kind of responses. And definitely we explore governance model and validators network just to allow anyone to join and start serving as data provider. Yeah, I think the good test for decentralization. What will happen if me, all the founders, all the core team will disappear in some time? So, in my opinion, the protocol will continue to operate even if all of us will disappear. That's the level of decentralization we are trying to achieve, and it's in our plan for this year. So I hope we'll do this year. So anyone would be able to join, anyone with the correctly designed hardware will be able to join the network and start serving responses. And yeah, that will be the level of decentralization good enough in my point of view for the data oracle. So we can disappear and the network will continue to operate. If you're using our services, you can become a data provider by yourself and serving data for your own or relying on other servers also. So that's good enough.
Thank you so much, Dimitri. So, real world blockchain adoption. You've had a front row seat to how enterprises are reacting to blockchain. Can you walk us through a tangible use case where blockchain and oracles are delivering real world value?
I think we are still at the very early stage. We as the whole industry, because we see a lot of different use cases. People are trying to build tokenizing everything right now. So nowadays it's a space where people are tokenizing everything. We saw projects that are tokenizing like real estate, stocks, bonds, wines, spirits, cigars, air rights in UK, a lot of everything, yeah. And as it is in a very early stage, in a lot of cases, people actually forget to make it secure. So they're telling, okay, we'll do it in a centralized manner and let's see how it will go later on. Unfortunately, I believe we'll see a lot of hacks in upcoming future. Hacks, rug pulls, malicious behavior of the teams, disclaiming that tokenizing something that is actually not belongs to them or not belongs to them more or less, or it was solved several times. We already saw pretty bad cases recently, in RWA space. So I believe that oracles should bring the big piece of security to real world assets. That's actually the glue that connects real world with the tokens and with the blockchain. Without this glue, we'll always have a lot of issues, and all these tokenized real world assets will be more meme coins than actually real world assets. Yeah, it will be meme coin that reflects in like real estate in Cyprus. I'm based in Cyprus. So yeah, without oracles, it's actually a meme coin. It might follow the prices of real estate. It might not follow the prices of real estate. It might go to the zero. It might go to the moon. But if you want to have something sound and something secure, we need to bring oracles. And I believe, blockchain is a very nice piece of technology for tokenized real-world assets and actually real-world adoption, because we've created a very good infrastructure. Actually, we have created, since you tokenized shares by design, you have access. You can send these shares to other persons. You can trade it to other tokens, to tokenized dollars or other cryptocurrency. You can use them as collateral to take loans. So we have a lot of tools, and in classic world, it's very complicated stuff. QUEX as a company itself. I cannot just send my shares. I cannot sell them. There is no market to sell them or buy them. I cannot use them in collateral in any banks because we are pretty small right now, and bank rates will be very bad. So since I've tokenized it, by design, I have all of these features, and this is cool. That excites me a lot, actually. So finally, the infrastructure we've created within the last 10 years for tokens using smart contracts might be useful for all of this value created by the humanity within the last few centuries. That's more philosophical view of your question, but I hope I responded.
No, it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. I mean, somebody can just sell something that's not there. It's as simple as that, and it has happened in the past. Some guys sold an airport somewhere which never existed for $100 million or something. So these things do happen. These malicious actors are always going to be there in any industry that we go. So like you said, we need to be trustless, and we need to build infrastructure and security to make sure that it is as trustless as possible. That's about it. So let's talk about QUEX and under the hood, and about interoperability changes. Interoperability is a tough nut to crack at the protocol level. From your point of view, what makes it such a challenge?
So I think we are all already find a consensus that the future is multi-chain. That we won't have one chain that's rule of all of them. 5-7 years ago, it wasn't that clear, because Ethereum Max it all that we'll have Ethereum that will replace Bitcoin and all the other networks, and then Solana came with the same meaning. And a few others. Now I think it's pretty clear that we'll have a lot of chains. We have thousands of them right now. With all of these roll-ups, layer 2, layer 3 networks, we have even more. We'll have app-specific chains. Like Uniswap recently launched the chains for their app, and it makes sense, more or less makes sense at least nowadays. But we found another problem. Yeah, all these chains have to communicate between each other. Yeah, we have fragmentations of liquidity, we have fragmentations of infrastructure, wallet, oracles, data availability, and all of it. Thus, we need some kind of protocols that can bring messages from one network to another. Sometimes it's built in within the ecosystems like Cosmos network that have this protocol allowing to different Cosmos-based network to communicate among each other, but it's still limited within some subset of networks. What we definitely willing to achieve is to allow all the networks to communicate with each other, to build truly cross-native, cross-chain apps that actually don't care what is the blockchain under the hood. Yeah, that's in terms of like mass adoptions and user experience. Like blockchain is a backend. When you are using apps in your phone, you don't care what is the backend, what is the programming language of the backend, what are the framework used there. You just use it and it's friendly. So from user perspective, I believe blockchain is just a backend and they shouldn't care too much what is under the hood. XDC might be cool for real world assets and Solana might be good for memes, and Bitcoin is still a Bitcoin, yeah. And it's cool to operate all of these different kinds of assets from the same space, from the same app, to be able to swap one to another, to be able to do something cross-chain. For us, actually, for QUEX, I mean, bringing data from one chain to another one is very similar to bringing data from Web2 world to the chain, yeah. So we're connecting to XDC, we have all this verification stuff on XDC already. This means that in the same manner as you bring data from web sources, from APIs, you can bring data from other chains. Yeah, we are working on do it in a way to do it even more secure, to put the whole full node of chains within the QUEX encrypted environment, yeah, within TEs, and which will allow to be much more sound. Some event actually happened within another network, and this allows XDC builders to rely on data that on events that happening outside of XDC network that happens on other networks, and bring bridges, bring tokens from other networks, bring liquidity, bring cross-chain swaps. It's all becoming possible, yeah. And that's again, we are building infrastructure. Please do it whenever you want, even if especially in a way we haven't kept in mind. It's very interesting for us right now to learn how are people actually using QUEX, because we build a piece of infrastructure and we see that people already using it in a different manner than we thought originally. Yeah, sometimes it's simplify the way to create DeFi protocols. It could be done within existing oracles, but with QUEX it's just much simpler, and they change the way their app operates, speed up their development in tens of times because they don't need to operate on the wow, cool. That's actually, we hadn't kept it in mind, but it's make it possible. Yeah.
Wow, I like the way you build, and the way you talked about building is like a game for you. And yeah, I love the challenges that you put out, and you're saying like, guys, you should do this, you should do that, and then you should let us know what is happening with our chain or our protocol. And that's amazing. It's such a playful nature, and that's how Web3 should be at the end of it. Because without the hacks, we don't know what is going to go wrong, right? We need them to get better.
Yeah, that's actually why we are partnering a lot with new chains. We are now partners of XDC Hackathon. By the way, all your listeners, if you are hackers, please go to it's WAI Hackathon, so it's more related to AI agents, to RWA. And yeah, if you are interested to build something connected to real world assets or even AI, we might be useful. We are interested. We saw cases like QUEX as an Oracle can bring you responses from ChatGPT, OpenAI, or from Grok, from XAI, and again, for us it's the same, but for you it might be a completely different application that is like, oh, we have a DAO that is now fully controlled by this AI model. Okay, we still have this piece of trust party that is running this neural network at this stage. This risk might be eliminated actually, but if the model is public, if it's not public, then we cannot. But it's still pretty fun applications that might provide interesting use cases, interesting applications, and we are glad to see all of them.
I'm really happy the way this synergy has come together. So, just looking ahead to 2029, the future of DeFi data. Let's zoom out a bit. What does the Oracle layer look like in 2029? Is it decentralized and bulletproof, or are we still wrestling with fragility in edge cases? What's your hope for how developers will interact with oracles 5 years from now?
Yeah, so I hope that like in 5 years we won't have an Oracle problem, and hopefully like new developers come into Web3 space 5 years from now won't even know the Oracle term and what does it mean. They will say, okay, we can just do the same stuff we are doing in a Web2 world. Yeah, again, Oracle is a Web3 specific term, a Web3 specific problem, and I believe it's time to eliminate this problem. That's why we are here also. So under the hood, it might be QUEX, it might be a different project, it might be a combination of different oracles actually, but both like developers and users shouldn't care too much how the problem is solved. Yeah, they should just know that the problem is solved, they're secure, and it's very convenient and easy to use. So that's how I hope we'll be in 2020. I'm sure that we'll be at this stage in some future. Not sure about 2029. Maybe it will take more time, but it should exist somewhere in the future. Yes, in a good future, I see in my imagination we won't have an Oracle problem at all, and we can just build whatever we can imagine, whatever we can think, can we have fun. And all the infrastructure is just an infrastructure. It's an important piece of the whole space, but it's still just an infrastructure. It shouldn't limit builders, it shouldn't limit our imagination. It should help us to make it secure, but shouldn't provide additional limitations.
100% agree with you there. Technology should enhance one's experience of life and not ruin it. So thank you so much for that statement, Dmitry. Dmitry, this has been easily one of the most technically rich episodes that we've done. Thank you for breaking, things down with such clarity. And before we wrap, what's next for QUEX?
Well, for the next 6 months for QUEX, we are planning to release more developer-friendly SDK that's definitely allowing them to build with more convenient, much easily, also providing new use cases. That is also what I'm looking for, real-world examples of usage. That's what excites me a lot in RWA space, AI space, DeFi, prediction markets. It's not that crucial for me. I just want to see real-world cases, how people using QUEX. That's a big milestone for us and a big focus for us to have more and more clients, more and more use case scenarios for QUEX. That's cool. And as I already covered a bit, moving forward with to be a decentralized network, likely it will happen with together with the token launch of QUEX. It's not public and not confirmed for sure, just short disclose to your community that will allow you to participate with the network. So I hope at the end of the year we'll be in the level of decentralization that we as a team can actually disappear and everything will continue to operate, work fine. 2 cases solving real issues, real problems without my personal participation, manual participation. I will definitely continue to push it forward, but it shouldn't be a demand.
Yeah, got it. Loud and clear, Dmitry. So, Dmitry, thank you so much for this amazing episode.
I enjoyed it a lot.
How do I say thank you?
Spasiba.
Spasiba, correct. Yes, I got it.
How do you tell it in Indian?
We say dhanyavad.
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 Dhanyavad, everyone.
So, you'll find links to QUEX, XDC Network, and relevant GitHub repositories in the show notes. If you are building in the RWA or DeFi data space, check out QUEX.tech. It's going to be mentioned down in the link. And follow and share the XDC India podcast. We've got more incredible episodes lined up. Until next time, see you guys.